Okay, so today we're going to talk about multi-step equations. Let's start off with a black pen here. All right, so looking at our page of notes here, it's telling us what are the steps to solve a multi-step equation. There's a couple different ways we can go about this. This is the first way, and we're going to talk about another way here in a minute. So the first way is one, you distribute if there's anything you can distribute. So if there's anything outside those parentheses, distribute that through. Second thing is combine like terms. That's get your x's together, get your y's together, get your numbers together. Once you're done with that, then you're just going to get the variable by itself, whatever you have to do that. Okay, so let's look at this first one here. 9x plus 1 minus 7x minus 5 equals negative 20. Well, there's nothing to distribute, so let's go ahead and combine like terms. So my 9x and negative 7x are a like term. And then I also have my 1 and my negative 5 are like terms. So starting with my x's, 9 minus 7 is 2x. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 equals negative 20. Okay, now I've combined my like terms, and I'm just going to solve it just like I did all of my two-step problems before. So we're doing PEMDAS backwards, adding and subtracting away first, then multiplying and dividing. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. That gives me 2x equals negative 16. Divide by 2, which gives me x equals negative 8. Alrighty, let's talk about the second one here. Here we have something that we actually have to distribute. There's a negative 7 on the outside that I have to multiply to everybody on the inside. I'm going to keep my 91 the same. Negative 7 times 3a is negative 21a. Negative 7 times negative 1 is positive 7. Is there anything to combine that are like terms? No. So we're going to go ahead and move right on to solving for our a. So again, adding and subtracting first, then multiplying or dividing. I have a plus 7, so I'm going to minus 7 to both sides. 91 minus 7 is going to give us 84. Okay, equals negative 21a. And then I just divide by negative 21 to both sides. That gives me a equals negative 4. And guys, again, feel free to use a calculator for some of this stuff. I do not expect you to do any of this in your head. Calculator it up, use one, don't feel bad. All right, number 3. Again, we have to distribute, so I'm taking my negative 5, again, negative 5, and distributing it to everybody on the inside. I'm going to keep my 4m. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15m. Negative 5 times 10 is negative 50. And that still equals 126. Combining my like terms, it's 4m and negative 15m. That gives me negative 11m minus 50 equals 126. Add 50 to both sides. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Negative 11m equals 176. Divide both sides by negative 11. So you get m equals negative 16. 4 and 5 I've already done. You should get k equals negative 1 and x equals negative 25. If you don't get those, please come see me and we can work some questions out together to make sure that we get those right steps. Okay, moving on to our second page of notes here. Again, another way to solve. This time we have variables on both sides of our equation. So we're going to distribute, again, if necessary. Combine any like terms on one side of the equation or the other. Then you're going to move your variables to one side and solve to get your variable by itself. So let's start with number 1. So here we are with number 1. There's nothing to distribute. Check. There's no variables that are the same on either side, so there's no combining of like terms. Now we're going to move our variables. I always like to keep my variables positive, so I move my smaller variable first. So I'm going to minus 3y to both sides. Let me get a little bit of a skinnier pencil here. So that gives me 5 minus 3 is 2y. Keep my minus 8 equals 3y's cancel out, so I'm bringing down my 12. Now this looks just like those two-step equations that we mastered last week. Add 8 to both sides. So that gives you 2y equals 20. Divide by 2. So you get y equals 10. Go ahead and give number 2 a try. It should be the exact same steps. And you should get x equals negative 1. Again, if you don't get that, come see me. Let's chat it out and let's make sure you get that. 3. So 3 is a little bit different. Again, I'm getting my variables to one side and my numbers to the other. Well, there's no numbers over here by my 7. So I'm going to automatically move my 3k over. So I'm going to minus 3k from both sides. 7k minus 3k is 4k. I'm going to bring down my negative 36. And now all I have to do is divide by 4. So if you're ever in a situation like this where there's already a variable by itself on one side, then just move your variables all of them over to that side and you should be fine. So for this one, I get k equals negative 9. Four is very similar to 1 and 2 that we had done before. You should get u equals 3. Again, if you're not getting that, come see me and let's work it out. That should actually be negative 3. All right, let's do 5. So 5, again, very similar to 1, 2, and 4. I'm getting my variables to one side, my numbers to the other. I, again, like to keep my variables positive, so I'm going to move my smallest variable. So I move my negative 6m to both sides. Opposite of negative 6m is plus 6m. So I'm going to bring down my 11. 1m, negative 1m plus 6m is 5m. And my 51 stays here. Okay, I got variables to one side, so that means I have to move my positive 11. So I have to minus 11 to both sides. So that gives me 5m equals 40. Divide by 5 on both sides. So that gives me m equals 8. All right, let's look at 6. Once again, same kind of strategy. Move my smaller of my k's, numbers to the other side, and then divide or multiply. All right, so my smaller k is negative 10k, so I'm going to add 10k to both sides. I'll add 10k to my bank account. Alrighty, so that gives me 1 still on this side. 40. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3k. So I moved my k's over to the right-hand side, which means I have to move my 40 to my left-hand side. It's positive, so I have to minus it. 1 minus 40 is negative 39. Equals 3k. 3 is being multiplied, so I have to divide by 3k on both sides. Divide by 3, I should say. Negative 39 divided by 3 is negative 13. All right, we're going to have lots of practice with this week. So go ahead and follow what's next on our module.